CQ, CQ, CQ. This is Whiskey Mike 7 Romeo Charlie. Whiskey Mike 7 Romeo Charlie calling CQ, CQ.
Hello, everyone. This is KE7VLC, and on behalf of the Mesa Amateur Radio Club, I wish you all a Happy New Year. Of course, it's not the new year just yet, but some of you might actually be watching it in 2020, so Happy New Year to all of you. So, with a new year brings new challenges, new events, and some new changes to our club and everything. And so, some of you who are just coming on board, our club is a little different than other clubs. Most clubs traditionally hold physical meetings every month, which is good for some, but not for everyone. Our club is mostly geared towards those who are active, and by active I mean have family, children, family obligations, things of that nature. Who work strange, somebody who works strange hours, such as myself, and somebody like a nurse or somebody like Vinny. Vinny works odd shifts. Those who enjoy going camping or just getting into the outdoors themselves, or those who are just not interested in showing up to meetings only to be bored to tears in a dark room while staring at a PowerPoint presentation. We try not to do PowerPoint presentations, although at our meetings sometimes it happens. So I don't want to bore anybody with PowerPoint or anything of that nature, but a lot of times PowerPoint is the best way to present something, especially a specific topic or something. Our club is actually geared to those who have questions and answers and would like to do a presentation themselves. We have an open floor policy, which means that any member can say, "Hey, listen, I've been working on this project and I would like to brag. Show it off to the club." Or to those who have an interest in a specific part of the hobby and would like to teach others about that specific part. I mean, if you're really good with, say, PSK31 and want to do a presentation and teach the club on how to use PSK31, feel free to reach out to me. Let me know. We'll get you in there and we'll let you teach. All right. This club is about club members working with each other, not just basically one person standing up front dictating the whole entire meeting and everything. So if you have an interest in doing a little presentation or something like that, feel free to reach out to me, let me know, and we'll make it happen. All right. We go camping roughly about 4 times a year, if not more. We would like to, well, some of us would like to go camping almost every other month if possible. Some of us can't, some of us can. Our club has built numerous antennas, and we've got an antenna project coming up, and I'll talk about that in here in just a little bit. We built antenna launchers. Let's see here. We've even built bandpass filters. One of our biggest projects, and one that really a lot of people were really interested in, was making the bandpass filters, and those are actually fairly easy to do. And we do have some of the parts and everything of that nature that we can actually go right ahead and do it again if we want. If there's interest in doing bandpass filters again, please comment down below. Let us know. Send us an email. Show up at one of our meetings or events and saying, "Hey, listen, I would love to do another bandpass filter." Those were fun to build. It involved in soldering. It involved winding wire around toroids and everything of that nature. So it was an active project. And like I said, we go camping roughly about 4 times a year. We try to do camping, winter field day and regular field day. So you got January and June already covered. We try to go camping in October as well as April, sometime around there, maybe May, depending on exactly what's going on with our lives. So if you're somebody who loves having a stuffy club, sitting around in a dark room looking at PowerPoint presentations and listen to people chit chat amongst themselves while there's somebody up there going through a presentation, then chances are that you're not going to enjoy our club. But if you enjoy getting up there and teaching and stuff of that nature, this is going to be a club for you. So let's talk about some of the changes that we're going to be doing as a club here. The major change is we will be holding our club meetings now on Wednesday nights instead of Tuesdays. And the reason why this change came around is it's multifaceted here. The first reason is we have a club member who now is working, I think it's like Sunday, Monday, and Tuesdays. and he works night shift. So he has no way of getting to our meetings if he works the night shift. It'd just be much of a kind of a pain in the butt to get to. So we've kind of moved the meeting for him. And Vinny, this is for you. If I hope to see you at more of our meetings and our events. I hope you put that on your New Year's resolution, is to get out to more of our events and more of our meetings and everything. So Vinny, you better be watching this. Anyways, the other reason why is because we think that holding our meetings basically a week after another club over there is getting kind of confusing as to which club you're actually going to. So by now changing our meetings over to Wednesdays, now people are less likely to be confused as to which club it is. So I hope that more of you come out to our physical meetings when we actually do have physical meetings. We're going to be holding them like every 3 months or every 4 months or something like that. I'll be posting that on our website. So and I'll show you our website. Our website is wm7rc.org. So it's Whiskey Mike 7 Romeo Charlie.org is our website. I think our website looks pretty much better than 90% of all the other club websites out there. We try to keep it updated as often as possible. Sometimes, like myself, I've been ill for the past 2 or 3 weeks, so I haven't really been updating. Chad tries to do a little bit of updating. I need to get Vinny to start posting some stuff as well, and it'd be nice to get some videos from Frank on some of his stuff. But either way, here's our website. I think it looks fairly decent, especially when you compare it to a couple other ham radio clubs out there. For a hobby that is very technical and very savvy and everything, it's kind of interesting to see some of the websites that some of these clubs have. So we try to make ourselves stand out differently than all the others, and that's one way we do it. So I hope that a lot of you come out. The other part of our meetings are virtual meetings. So any of the non-physical meetings are going to be virtual meetings. And the reason why we do the virtual meetings, and we'll just put it this way: a virtual meeting is basically us doing what we're doing right now, except that it's a live broadcast instead of a pre-recorded broadcast. And the reason why we do this is not all of our club members can make it to our meetings. And we understand that. Sometimes you have a busy schedule, or you might be working or something of that nature. So the only way you can actually keep up to date as to what we're doing is by watching a recorded showing of what we do. So rather than have somebody stand up in the front and you hear a whole bunch of coughing in the background and people shuffling papers, getting up out of their chair to walk out to the bathroom or anything like that, because we're recording a meeting at a live meeting hall, we decided to do the virtual meetings over the web instead. I come into my studio. The only coughing you hear is of me, coughing, maybe my mom. You might hear Cody in the background whining or something of that nature. So our virtual meetings are essentially, it ends up being myself and Dennis. Eventually, I would like to get it so that I can have Vinny and maybe Frank or Chad be on there as well. And we're going to work on that this year, because I would like to be able to do basically a picture in picture in picture in picture. So I'd like to have basically 4, Frank up in this corner here, Chad up in this corner over here, Vinny down over here, and myself and Dennis over in another corner. And the reason why I'd like to do that is that way you get a live interaction. There is a slight delay in our video feed, which is just normal. That's just because, as I'm transmitting, it has to go over the internet and then up to a server and then get thrown out to the cloud and everything. We've tried to minimize that delay as much as possible, and I think we've got it down. I think we've got it really, really good. And that allows you guys to chat while we're live. And when we see that chat come across, we can then answer your questions. So you're not left out. Unless you're watching it pre-recorded, unless you're watching it recorded, obviously you don't get a chat with us. But we also understand that not everybody can make it down to the meeting site. Some of us are salespeople, or we might have to travel or something like that. So we're going to be out and about. You might be at a hotel or something like that. Guess what? Now you get to sit down at your hotel room, open up your laptop, and get to interact with us on our meeting from, say, Vegas or, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, or Dallas, Texas, like my brother. My brother watches us from Dallas, Texas. So, we enjoy having him in there because he's not a ham radio operator. He doesn't have his license yet. He's interested, so he asks quite a few questions, and a lot of them are really good questions that newbies are scared to ask. And that's one thing that I like about the virtual meeting is now you get to remain anonymous behind the scenes unless I put your name out there, and you get to ask a question. So feel free on any of our virtual meetings when they're live. Feel free to hop in there and ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. First off, that's how we all learn. So that's one of our first changes, changing from Tuesdays to Wednesday nights. I would have preferred Thursday nights myself, or maybe Friday nights, but Friday nights are usually even more busier. Thursday nights, just we couldn't get the physical space, so we decided, okay, Wednesday nights are it. So let's talk about some of our club activities here. In matter of fact, let's go back. I'm going to bring this up here. Okay, so in order to get in contact with us, we've got our website, wm7rc.org. All right, that's the primary place to go for any of our stuff. The secondary place, and quite honestly, I'm going to reverse this. Facebook is going to be our primary source to get a hold of us because it's quicker. I have our website, or not our website, but our Facebook page. Anytime you make a comment or something like that, it notifies me on my cell phone. If I have Facebook up and running at home or something like that, it notifies me there. Let's see, what is the other? Oh, yeah, so Facebook, Mesa Amateur Radio Club, just look us up. We're out there. We try to actively engage. We share stories. We might share ARRL events and stuff of that nature up there. And if you have questions, feel free to either comment or leave a post or something like that. We allow postings to go up by members, so feel free. The other way is look for the Mesa Amateur Radio Club on YouTube. We have a ton of videos. Well, not a ton. I'm kind of making that up. We got quite a few videos here. We got them split into virtual meetings. You'll notice that this one right here says 5/22/2018 virtual meeting. If you want to find out exactly what our virtual meetings are like, come in here, look at our virtual meetings. I've got a couple videos in here. We've got the repeater etiquette video. We've got Arizona QSO party. This is the other thing that we're going to be doing a lot more this year is we're going to be recording a lot of our stuff. We're set up to do live streaming from pretty much all of our sites. As long as we can connect to a cellular network, we could do live streaming. We're going to be doing a lot more videos. And yes, I do know that, instead of holding your phone, up and down, hold it to the side while we're doing videos. Yes. This is all part of the learning curve. But feel free to come in here, look through a lot of our stuff. We're going to do some, the other thing that we did, Chad did a wonderful review of a product, the Bearcat DX1000 receiver. He did a really good video on that. We're going to try to do some more videos. We want to do one on the 7300. We want to do one on the 991A. And I have the 891. And I would like to do a review video of that as well. So we can post that up there. Some of our projects we're going to be posting up on here as well. And feel free to let me know if there's a topic you would like to have covered or something. Feel free to let me know. Again, just contact us. All right. Our club has a few members who have started doing some other various projects here. One of these projects, actually, Vinny and I started a long time ago, and because Vinny went out and started getting his master's degree and getting an education and everything, kudos for him for graduating, by the way. I'm very happy to have gone to his graduation ceremony. I'm glad that he actually invited me out. It was a great ceremony, and I'm very proud of Vinny for accomplishing that. It was a tough work, and he had to basically almost drop out of the club the entire time because of it. And it was not an easy course. It was not an easy degree, and so hats off to him. He's done a very good job, and I hope that with the change in his schedule that he'll start coming out a lot more. But Frank, as well as myself, has started going down into the mesh networking. There's a group that was with the Superstition Amateur Radio Club, and they've kind of I want to say they've kind of broken off, but I don't know exactly the whole entire history on it. So don't quote me on that. But they've kind of split. They're now doing their own little thing where they've got a huge mesh network out here. Out here in the East Valley, quite a few nodes that are up and operational. And Frank and I are starting to look into getting our own nodes going. I would like to get a node set up on my patio roof out in the back and aim it over towards. Apparently, they have an antenna, a main node connected up at the Apache Junction High School. So I would like to be able to, and I have a good line of sight pretty much directly to the high school, so I can pretty much put a nice little antenna up there and aim it that direction and get a good signal over that direction. So I'm gonna be working on that. I might actually put it, instead of putting it up on my patio, I might actually put it up in the corner of my house or something like that, so that I can run it differently or something. So if you're interested in mesh networking, and we're talking about the ability to do things like make voice over IP telephone calls to each other. We're talking about being able to share files and things of that nature. So that's one aspect of it. There's other aspects to it, and we're still learning. Frank and I are still both learning on this. We've joined that other part of that club, so we can start going to their meetings and start learning and seeing what they're actually doing, and then we'll bring that education over to you guys as well, unless you guys are interested in joining their part of their club. But the other part of this is the AMPR net, which is, and some of you probably don't even know this, but the amateur radio hobby itself has its own range of IP addresses. So, when you go to a place like youtube.com or, wm7rc.org, your router automatically translates that into a numerical value. Actually, it translates it into binary, but that's going way down that whole entire block. So some of you probably are familiar with internal networking. Oh yeah, I got to connect my PC up to the network or something, and so you're looking up IP addresses of like 192.168.1.5 or something of that nature. Well, the AMPR net has its own specific IP range, and it starts with 44. So anything 44.x.x.x is just dedicated to nothing but amateur radio. With the exception of the fact that they just sold off a ton of IP addresses to Amazon. I'm not really too happy with that, but at the same time, the money that they collected is now going towards scholarships. So hopefully that'll get some youth interested in going into college to go to like electronics, engineering, and things of that nature. So I hope that money actually gets put to actually good use. I'm crossing my fingers and hoping. So anyways, Vinny and I had started going down this path, and we've got some stuff set up. I haven't been able to reach Vinny in almost a month now, which is the reason why I keep dropping his name. So I hope that he's watching this video and goes, okay, I've been out of the loop. I need to get back into it. I get it, Orion. I'll reach out to you. I know that Vinny and I were trying to get an IRC chat set up on the AMPR net. We were trying to get our website linked over there so that when you're on the 44 network, you can actually see our club website. Because it's basically just like your normal internet, except that it's got a private IP range, and you can't actually just browse to it. You actually have to be on that network. You have to be actually invited on and everything of that nature. But anyways, Frank and I have a segmented network in both of our locations that are now on the 44 net. Um, and we're working on trying to get a couple other things set up on there. And that's one reason why we would like to do the mesh networking, is because I would like to be one of the nodes that goes into the AMPR net. So we'll see what happens. Anyways, if you guys are interested in either the mesh networking or the AMPR net, definitely let us know. Come out to our meetings. Show up. We'll be talking about this a lot more coming up. So, if you're interested in doing one of these projects or helping out or anything of that nature, or interested in building your own mesh network node, come on out. Let us know. The same club members, Frank and myself, let's just say that we had a sudden peak of interest in doing microwave communications. And we're not talking about the microwave oven to cook your food. We're talking about actual microwave transmitter in the gigahertz range. There's a group out here that I've got his card as well as his presentation, and I got to find his presentation. But we're going to be doing one of his. I'm going to be doing a slideshow of his presentation at one of our meetings. And microwave, you don't just go down to HRO and pick up a little handheld that's on the microwave range. What you end up having to do is you have to buy some up converters and down converters and a whole bunch of other stuff. We're just now getting into this, so it's going to be a slow process. It's going to require a little bit of financial and time on dedicated to doing this. Microwave communications is you don't just basically go out and set up an antenna and transmit. You kind of sort of have to have other people that are aware that you're going to be transmitting so that you can talk with each other. There's not a lot of people that do this, so it's something that we're just kind of interested in. I would like to have the experience with it and just see exactly what we need to do. So one of our other projects that we were talking about several months ago was building a 2-meter slot antenna, and I'm kind of happy about to say that this project is actually moving forward. We've been discussing whether or not we want to do it during Winter Field Day or not, and we're still kind of debating whether or not we want to do this. I would like to do this, but we would need at least one antenna that we can actually utilize for this. And this is where you take an old satellite dish antenna from like Dish Network or DirecTV. You end up making a couple a horizontal and 2 vertical cuts in it, and then you solder your connectors up there, and then you run your coax up to it, and now all of a sudden you've got an antenna that looks like a regular satellite antenna. It's a potential way to be stealthy about getting on 2 meters. I would like to try to get this going and get this project basically a good video of it, of us actually doing it, and the results and everything, so that all of you guys can actually do it as well. And if it's another one of those projects where we got a lot of people that are interested in doing it, then we'll come out and we'll do a mass training session on it or something like that. Maybe we'll go out to one of the parks or something and set up and start building them or something. So keep that in mind. If we are going to do this, I will let the club know that we're going to be doing this at Winter Field Day, so that all of you can actually be part of that if you want. Any of our projects that we've done in the past, if you're interested again, let us know and we'll make it happen, all right? Speaking of Winter Field Day, we do have Winter Field Day coming up. January 23rd through the 27th is our campground reservations. I have not looked to see if there's any other groups out there, but usually we end up having the entire campground all to ourselves, which is fun. I'm quite happy about having a campground all to ourselves, because it means if we're running generators or we're making noise or we're up at 2 o'clock in the morning or something like that making contacts, we don't have to worry about noise complaints from other campers. So where we're going to be camping at for Winter Field Day, and I know a lot of you are like, oh, come on, hurry up and get to this part. We're going to be up at the Goose Loop site of Grapevine Group Campground up at Roosevelt Lake, Arizona. All right. So where is right here is essentially here's Mesa, Tempe, Gilbert. You got all this area right here. Apache Junction. Okay, you got 87 that goes up towards Payson. You got 60 that goes over towards Globe. And here's Lake Roosevelt, all right? So for those of you who have never been out to Lake Roosevelt, first off, shame on you for not driving around and getting familiar with the area. But second off, Lake Roosevelt is a huge lake. It is, they've got numerous campgrounds around the area, numerous areas where you can go down and go fishing and stuff. It's a big lake. Probably one of the biggest in our state. I don't know in size or anything like that, so I don't have the statistics as to, what the size is or anything. But it's the closest one of the closest lakes that we have to our area. You can either get to it by going up 87 and then coming down the 188, or you can go out to the 60 all the way out to Claypool Globe area, and then take the 188 to come in on the other side. Either side will get you to the same place, all right? And if you zoom in on this map, we're going to be actually over in this region right here. You have the Tonto National Monument. You got Windy Hill. So if you get to Windy Hill Campground and you're like, wait a second, have I gone too far? Just look for the Grapevine Group Campground. And I'll zoom out here to show you exactly where the road is. So over here is this little the Boston Lake House Grill. It's a little grocery store, gas station. And this is coming from Globe. If you come from the other side, you're going to have to cross the bridge and then pass the marina to get to it. But there is a landing strip out here, and I believe that it's considered private, but I guess you can land there. I don't know the aeronautical rules. But anyways, you come in. There is a sign out here that points. So you have to sort of be paying attention. But there is a sign out there that says Grapevine Group Campground. You come down this road, and before you get to the ramp, there is a road that goes off to the right-hand side. There is a gate right here. As long as the government is not shut down, this gate will be open. All right. If the government does do a shutdown, this gate will be closed, but we will have access to it. We did last year when the government was shut down. I know there was quite a few of you who, well, there was a couple people that were complaining that they couldn't get a hold of us or couldn't get in. Anyways, if the gate is open, come on back and make the first left. We're not going to go to the right this time. We're going to go to the left. And then just basically follow that little road all the way back to the very, very last little loop area. And that's where we're going to be camped at. The reason why we're camping at this place instead of the other place is because this way it gives us a little bit of flexibility in where our antennas are placed. With the fact that we're using hamstick dipoles, this is going to allow us to do a little bit more spread out if we need to or want to. We do have the 3 normal pavilions that we always can traditionally have with the fire ring and everything. And yes, we will have a group campfire. We're going to need wood, so somebody's going to need to pick up a whole bunch of wood and bring it out. I'll bring some wood. I know Frank will probably bring some wood. Chad usually brings a package or 2 of wood. If anybody else wants to bring and contribute to some wood, please bring it out. We don't always use all the wood, but it's always nice to have more than not enough. Anyways, we got multiple different pavilions that we can potentially use on our own if we want. There's a couple places where we can, I'll probably camp over on this side or something like that. I'll probably have Dennis, since Dennis is going to be camping in his car, I'll probably have Dennis camp in one of the areas that doesn't have an actual pavilion. That way, if anybody comes out with a tent or something like that, and is using a camp, um, oh, what am I trying to say? A picnic table to cook on and stuff of that nature, can probably use one of the pavilions instead. So, we'll play it by ear and see what happens. We got plenty of time. It's not like we're sweating on this. Yes, this is an actual campground. The cost is, it depends. It's all up to you how much you want to contribute. I have already basically ponied up the money for this reservation, so this is actually reserved. There is, um, when we had the government shutdown last year, they still allowed us to camp out there. We just had to make sure that the front gate was locked every time we passed through it. I don't anticipate that happening, but yeah, with the way the Democrats and the Republicans are bashing each other and fighting with each other, that could potentially happen again this year. Not 100% sure. We'll see, but we'll keep you guys apprised as to what the situation is. Last year, what happened with the government shutdown, we had to lock the gates, and we couldn't just basically just willy-nilly give out the gate code. So what we ended up having you guys do is contact us via UHF. Usually we use 446.050 as our talk-in frequency, and we do usually monitor it. For some strange reason, somebody said that they tried calling us and couldn't reach any of us. I never heard anybody. I had my HT on me the whole entire time. Well, most of the time. And then we also had regular radios set up where we were operating, and we never heard them. But we actually had two other groups that actually contacted us either by cell phone or by radio, and they were successful at getting in. So I don't know. There are 0 trees out here. Most of the trees would be considered bushes in my lingo. They're not terribly tall or anything like that. So we typically don't run wire out here. Or if you're going to run wire, you have to have a mast. And the ranger doesn't complain about us with our generators, our masts, or anything of that nature. They just pretty much let us be. So if you want to bring a mast, feel free to bring a mast. Go right ahead, set it up, run a wire if you want. We have no problems with that. But that's the reason why we are doing the hamstick dipoles this year. We've already tested out one dipole, and it worked pretty well. I was able to contact Japan. We were able to get Texas, California, Pennsylvania, I think New York, and a couple other spots. So the hamstick dipoles work. They may not necessarily be the most effective and best, antenna. But if you're in a situation like this where you have no trees and you're not able to string a wire dipole up at 60, 80, 90, 100 feet, then you're going to have to go with what you can go with. Chad usually brings out his buddy pole. That last year when we had him out there using it, that was actually the most effective antenna that we had. I think it was better than our wire antennas. So that's the reason why we decided to do the hamstick dipoles. And this is going to be kind of an experiment. We're going to be utilizing the hamstick dipoles. If they work really, really well, then what we're going to do is we're going to start doing a lot more desert camping. We might go down towards Tucson or Benson, or maybe out towards Show Low or something like that. I don't know. We'll play it by ear and see what happens. We may even go out to Quartzsite. So if these hamstick dipoles and buddy poles work, then we're going to probably start doing a lot more desert camping. And yes, we will do some videos on the hamstick dipoles as well as the buddy pole, and maybe do a comparison, maybe set up side by side and see what happens. That would actually be quite a good video, I think. So we'll see. The goal for Winter Field Day is to make some contacts. Yes, it is an actual event. We're not making this up. And yeah, I know a lot of you are going, oh, Winter Field Day in Arizona. Well, let's just put it this way. A couple years ago, it got down so cold that we actually had ice in our dog water dishes. And if you left a glass sitting out or something like that with some liquid in it, it was frozen. So Just because we don't get snow doesn't mean it doesn't get cold down here. Desert gets cold at nighttime. So be prepared. Be prepared for 32, 30-degree weather. Warm sleeping bags, heaters, thermal underwear if you want it or need it or think you need it, bring it. Um, and during the daytime it might get up into the 60s and 70s. We don't know it. For example, Christmas this year, 2019, it's supposed to rain and it's supposed to be in the 60s. So, anything can happen. So be prepared. Just because we don't have snow on the ground doesn't mean we actually don't experience winter. All right. Um, and for those of you who are sitting there going, but it's snowing behind you. Well, I got green screen. It's a little movie trick behind the scenes trick there. So it's not. I'm not really where it's snowing. All right. See. Okay. So don't believe what's behind me. Anyways, going back to this, Winter Field Day is an actual event. Winter Field Day actually has its own site. It is not an ARRL sponsored thing. Don't know why in the world the ARRL didn't think about this. Disasters strike all over the world. So if Field Day is about, emergency preparedness, then I don't understand why they didn't think about doing a Winter Field Day. But it is put on, and disasters are unpredictable by nature and can strike when you least expect them. So the goal is to help you enhance your skills, ready you for all environmental conditions found in the U.S. and Canada during the spring, summer, fall, and winter. We do have the rules, and I'll pull up the rules here in just a second here. Oh, it's not going to show up. Daggone. Oh, well. Anyway, the rules are basically almost exactly like Field Day, except that the categories are indoor, outdoor, and home. So if you're operating from your home environment where you normally have your PC, you're running off of the main power and things of that nature, you're operating from home. So if you have 4 stations going on from a home station, it's going to be basically like a 4 home, so 4 hotel. Outdoor station, which is what we're going to be because we're going to be outdoors. We're not going to be from a weather protected structure. We're going to be outdoors, partially or fully exposed to the elements and at least 30 feet away from our normal station location. And campground, park pavilion, canopy, picnic table, tent, pop-up camper, etc., is an example of an outdoor station. And guess what? We are. We're at a campground, so we're going to be outdoors. Indoors, operating from inside of a remote, insulated, heated, or cooled, depending on your local weather. A weather-protected structure, so a cabin or community center, EOC, senior center, club shack, etc., is considered an indoor station. So there you go. There's your 3 categories. Entry class is basically dependent on how many simultaneous transmission stations. So if we've got 2 transmitters that are operating simultaneous or can be operated simultaneous, then it's a 2-class outdoor. Chances are we're going to be a 3 Oscar, a 3 Oscar, or a 3 outdoor. And then basically we get to do any of the HF CW, single sideband, even 6-meter VHF, UHF. VHF and UHF, we can't use repeaters. We have to use simplex calling frequencies, and yes, we will attempt a couple of those out there. We may not get anybody, but we're going to attempt it at least. Single sideband, pretty much everything that you normally can operate in or operate on, except for 12, 17, 30, and 60. So 15 meters is wide open. 10 meters is open. If we can make contacts on it, we're going to make contacts on it. So we'll at least attempt it. Starts at January 25th, 26. No earlier than 1900 UTC, which is 2 p.m. Eastern Time. 1900 UTC time. We are in -7, so take 7 from that. About noon on Saturday to about noon on Sunday, and that's the reason why we also have the reservation all the way through Monday. For those of you who don't want to break down and would like to continue all the way up till noon on Sunday, and then basically maybe do some of their own personal contacts or something Sunday evening, you can go right ahead and do that without having to break down, and then we break down on Monday and take off. So you don't have to stay the entire time. If you just want to come out Friday night and stay all the way until Sunday, afternoon, you can. If you want to come out just Saturday, come out just Saturday. If you want to come out just Sunday, come out just Sunday. If you want to come out on Thursday, we have the spot open. I think it's from noon. I think it's like noon or 2 o'clock or something like that on Thursday, and I'll get those. I'll get that confirmation and I'll post it up on our website and Facebook site. I believe the campground is open from noon on Thursday for us, and goes all the way until I think 11 on Monday. So we've got that entire time to enjoy camping. There's not really that many other. We're allowed to claim a 1,500 bonus if we're not using any commercial power, which is typically us. Alternate power, usually using generators. We're able to claim a 1,500 bonus points if we operate outdoors. That's a guarantee for us. 1,500 bonus points if we're not a home operation, and we're not doing like a remote connection to an HF station or something like that. Again, that's another $1,500 bonus, or 1,500 bonus points for us. One bonus point that we have never been able to do is QSO via satellite. We may attempt it if we want to. We'll see what happens. It's all going to depend on whether or not Frank is able to get his satellite station up and running. Because if we can, then then we'll definitely give it a try. In order to claim the bonus points, we must have at least one valid QSO. So that's going to be of no issue there. 1 point per phone, 2 points per CW and digital QSO. So it'd be nice if we have a station operating digital all the time, one station doing phone all the time, and maybe one other station doing phone on a different alternate frequency or an alternate band or something like that. Count one multiplier for each mode operated per band. So example, if we have phone and digital, that's basically 2 points right there. We're going to attempt to do some FMs on 2 meters as well as 440 if we can get some contacts there. So if any of you are, would like to basically drive out to some place and hop on a 2 meter simplex frequency and give us a point, that would be great. But we'll see. We'll play it by ear and see what happens. We do operate N3FJP while we're out there, and we do have a Wi-Fi router system that we set up. So anybody who wants to bring their own laptop out and utilize it, please make sure you bring a Windows laptop. Don't bring an Android or anything like that because you can't connect. Well, you can connect to the Wi-Fi. You just can't run the specific software. So we ran into that. We had an issue with that during field day. Somebody brought their tablet out and didn't realize that they couldn't actually connect up. So if you're going to be bringing out some sort of portable device or something, make sure it's a Windows device that can run N3FJP. That's pretty much it. Otherwise, you're going to be using handwritten logs, and that gets a little on the tough side for us because then we have to manually input that into the system. It'd just be nice if everybody was all on the same software so we don't have to worry about that. Yes, there is cellular network out there because we're at a campground. We've got Mount Ord as well as I think one other place that has a good cell connection. So yes, we do have cellular network out there, and yes, we will be doing live videos. Who knows? We might be even streaming in the middle of the night or something like that. So feel free. Don't be shy. Come on out and enjoy it. Let's see here. We will have a virtual meeting to go over Winter Field Day again prior to the actual event. So that Wednesday prior to the Thursday that we're going out camping, we will have a live event, a virtual meeting. We might even actually have a virtual meeting when we're out there on Thursday. We'll see what happens. We're going to play that by ear. And then let's see here. There are other events that we've got planned. We just have not posted them to our website just yet. But rest assured, we will be doing regular field day as well. So field day is going to be a dispersed camping this year. We are not going to be utilizing an actual campground. Well, I'm going to play that one by ear as well because they're talking about raising the price. And we like the Moquis Group Campground. It has pit toilets, has running water, so that's something that we don't have to haul up the mountain with us, which sometimes gets to be a pain in the butt. And some people sit there and go, no, I don't like that. I don't enjoy that. But if we're not going to do a group campground, then we're going to be doing dispersed camping, which means we're going to have to haul water. No big deal. It's just it's something that we're going to have to also think about when we do these things. Just the dispersed camping might actually be a hindrance to some people, and some people may say, yeah, we're not interested in that or something like that. So we try to make field day as inclusive as possible, but we can't always do that. So please be understanding of that. For a lot of our other campgrounds or other camping events, sometimes we don't actually use actual group campgrounds. If we go up to Timber Camp raised their prices. I'm not too thrilled about that, especially since it's kind of a first come first serve type campground. Doesn't have running water, doesn't have garbage. They have pit toilets, but I don't think they regularly clean or desanitize them. But that might change. We might see some differences. I don't know. So stay tuned for those camping things. I would like to try to get at least one or two of us to go out to Quartzsite this year. We're going to play that one by ear as well. I got to find out, when we're going to be doing that and if we can make it out there. So there's a couple other events. We'd like to try to do the Arizona QSO party. That one's a fun event, but this year was kind of weird. I've got my new puppy and everything, and there wasn't that many people that came out. Chad said he was going to, and then he had some other issues. I don't know if many of you know or not, but Chad's got a new addition to his family, so he's got family events that he's going to have to be dealing with. So we're going to try to hog as much Chad time as possible. So. And I hope that his wife basically will be up to that, but we'll see what happens. So in the summer months, if we do go out, be prepared to go camping off grid and out in the boonies. Don't expect us to be in a campground or anything of that nature. Which also means that you need to be paying attention to both our website as well as our Facebook postings, because if we go out there and we say, oh yeah, we're going to be camping in spot A, and we go out there and spot A is picked over or chosen by somebody else, and we need to go down the road further, you're going to have to be flexible enough to be monitoring that and understand that. We try to accommodate people as much as possible, which is one reason why we try to use campgrounds, because then we know that we actually have an actual reservation for a very specific spot. And you guys don't have to sit there and go, I wonder where they're at, while you're driving out there. So, again, take a look at our website, our Facebook page, our YouTube. Sign up for all three, and just keep apprised as to where we're going. And with that, like I said, New Year brings new challenges, new events, and new changes to our club. And I think I've met all three of those criteria. So I hope to see most of you out there at our events. It'd be nice to see some new faces. It'd be really nice to see a lot of the common faces. So please come out and enjoy our events. So on behalf of the Mesa Amateur Radio Club, Whiskey Mike 7 Romeo Charlie, WM7RC, this is Kilo Echo 7 Victor Lima Charlie, saying 73. I hope you guys all have a wonderful be safe for the holidays, because I'm going to be posting this video before Christmas and before New Year's. So be safe out there. Be smart about everything. And I hope to see all of you guys in the new year. And 73.